Hello everyone. Alright, so this is part 2 of the Dragon Quest Heroes overview. This time I'm going to kind of talk about gameplay related stuff. First let me go into the menus. First we have your skill list. The way this works is over here you have your new abilities, your fighting abilities you can learn. Some characters can learn multiple levels of an ability, and when you do that you can hold the button to charge it up. Over here is your main stats. HP, MP, attack, magic, defense. Over here is kind of each character's personal section. These are skills that are catered towards their fighting style or their gameplay, and they have little stat boosts that kind of cater to them. And then over here we have kind of your more technical abilities. These are things that may increase like the invincibility during dodge and stuff like that. Basically you will learn a lot of the amount of skill points you get will not be enough to max everything out in one playthrough. You'll have to do 3 playthroughs. Once you start a new playthrough you will gain 50 bonus points, and then on your next playthrough you'll get another 50 bonus points, which from there you'll be able to max everything out. You can max mostly everything out though. You'll only be missing out on maybe like I'd say like 5 to 8 skills after one playthrough. But if you definitely want to max everything out, you have to get onto your 3rd playthrough for that to happen. Next we have, hold on, your equipment. You have your main weapon, you have your shield if a character can equip it, otherwise it will just be blank. You have armor, you have your accessories which you can equip up to 3, and then you have your costumes. That's pretty much it. Everything else is just standard stuff like items, whatever, different kinds of stuff you would typically see in RPG menus. Okay, so let me go on a mission and talk a bit about some gameplay. Now one thing to point out here is that you can either go on actual missions, you can go on story missions, you can go on certain quest missions, or you can just free roam. And this is basically free roaming right here, where you just go out on a field and you can fight as much as you want and then leave at any time. You'll simply go here and you can leave back to your ship. So that's basically when you're just trying to grind enemies or materials or stuff like that, you can just kind of run out on a field and fight, well, whatever. You can see what enemy types appear on each field before you go, if you're trying to grind a specific enemy type. Okay, so the controls, they work very similar to warrior games, other Koei games. You have your square string, 4-hit square combo, square triangle, square square triangle, square 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 triangle. Some of the charge attacks will do additional effects if you hold the button. Like if you hold square triangle, she'll launch in the air, in which you can continue air attacks from there. If you do like square 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 triangle, you can hold the button to charge it to a stronger attack. And then that's pretty much it. You also have your triangle button, which is kind of like a unique action depending on the character. Now the unique thing about the main character's triangle is that she can cancel after her charge attacks, and then she can continue to do like endless chains. So you can do square, triangle, triangle, square, triangle, triangle, and it will all link together as a sort of infinite chain. So that's a really cool element of her. She can do that off of any of her charge attacks. You have L1 to guard, R2 is your roll, X jump, you can do square square, triangle, L2 is character switch. You will cycle through the characters in order, you can't reverse cycle, so if you're trying to get a character that's further and down the line, you're gonna have to kind of do a few presses to get to them. I don't know if I can find a monster coin here. Might have to go to another mission. Okay, let me talk about the skill system real quick. If you hold R1, you're gonna bring up the skill circle. The skill circle basically works, you start with one skill and you'll learn the others in your ability menu. The way it works is square, triangle, and circle are offensive moves, and then X is usually like a kind of unique move, whether it's a buff or some other kind of unique action. So R1 square, R1 triangle. And once again, some of these you can hold to do certain things, like R1 triangle, you can hold it and she'll continue the attack further. You have R1 circle, that's a spell that you can charge. And each stage you charge it will kind of have different effects. So sometimes you may want to use just one charge or two charges. It's not always like the highest charge is necessarily the best. But it also depends on the move as well. Some moves like completely change. Some spells completely change how they work depending on how much you charge it. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to go to a different mission to find a monster coin. Let me do that real quick so I can go over how the monster coin system works. Now in this game, even though the controls are similar to warrior games, it's not as oriented around like fast-paced comboing action. A lot of the enemies you fight in this game will have super armor, which means that when you hit them they won't stagger, you know, they won't launch, anything of that sort. So you're gonna focus more on the party play and just kind of utilizing the right moves at the right time and dodging attacks and stuff like that, rather than just going like really fast and crazy. Not to say you don't do that in warrior games as well, but it's a different kind of action. And another important thing to know is that when you use a skill, one of your R1 skills, you have super armor during it. So you can kind of tank hits. You'll still take damage, but you can kind of tank hits by throwing out your skills at the right time. Okay, so let me see if I can get some monster coins. So as you can see there, when I hit the enemy, he doesn't stagger. Some enemies do stagger and can be launched. Whoa. Others, it's probably not a good place to come. Okay, so here's a coin. Let me get the coin and I'll kind of explain how these work. I got both types of coins, so I can go over how the different coin types work. Let's try to get away from these enemies. Okay, so if you see at the bottom, I have these monster coins. Depending on the strength of the monster, that will take up more of your slots. And if you see down here on this monster, the skeleton, I have a little blue emblem in the corner of him. That means he's a summon that will stay on the field. So wherever I put him out, he will protect this area. This is pretty important to the gameplay because on a lot of missions you will have to protect a certain spot or target. So you can kind of put these monsters here to protect for you. And then the other coins are just kind of action coins. Basically you throw them out and they do like one random attack and then disappear. So like the bomb, I will throw him out and he's just gonna roll into enemies and explode. And you can even use that against certain bosses to, like some bosses might eat them or something like that. So the coin system is really important. Utilizing it effectively will help you a lot throughout the story mode. And you can also use it in boss battles to help you hit weak points and stuff like that. Okay, so next, let me charge up my overdrive. This is going to take a little bit to manually charge. Actually, I might be able to charge it quicker with Terry. So let me try to charge this real quick and I'll talk about how the overdrives work. Alright, so we almost have half a bar here. You can cancel a lot of stuff in this game into other stuff, so it's very easy to have like continuous damage loops going on and stuff like that, which is really important for like boss battles, getting maximum damage, to know what kind of high damage loops each character has. Okay, so almost on my overdrive full. Alright, there we go. Okay, so let me go off and show the overdrive or awakening. I'm not sure what the official term is. But first you're going to press circle. This is going to put you into a powered up state. In this powered up state, you can double jump. You can dodge in the air. You can cancel that all. You can see you can do like square, jump, square, stuff like that. Pretty cool. And then as you see, the meter is depleting. Once the bar depletes, I'm gonna do my special attack. You can end it early by pressing circle, or you can just wait for it to deplete. But the special attack will come out no matter what, whether you manually activate or let it activate on its own. During the awakening state, you won't take damage. You're completely invincible. But the more you get hit, the faster your bar will deplete. So you can definitely utilize that in some pretty clutch moments, or abuse it for the invincibility to deal a ton of damage. Because also while you're in the awakening state, all your attacks will deal critical hit. So you can deal some pretty crazy damage during that. The use of it is very important to take down bosses and other powerful enemies. That's pretty much it as far as the gameplay. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment. Feel free to ask. I try to be kind of brief in my coverage, but go over some important aspects. Just to cover more on the overall game experience compared to Warriors, because this game's been compared to Warrior games a lot. This is not a Warriors game in my opinion. It doesn't give the same kind of fast-paced, hectic destructive action that you get in a Warriors game. It's more focused on the party play, more standard RPG fare, where you're gonna utilize your buffs and debuffs and equipment and good synergy between your party to be effective, as opposed to just running in and mowing everything down. The game is about, I would say, 30 to 40 hours for the story, and another good 30 to 40 hours for post-game, probably even more. I've spent about 100 hours on the game, and I haven't fully completed everything yet. There's like a couple post-game bosses I have to beat that take quite a bit of grinding. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any further questions, just feel free to ask.